Do you have a Seestar telescope and do you enjoy taking pictures and video of the sun with the included solar filter? But are you looking to get just a little bit more detail out of the pictures and videos you take with this telescope? Well, you might consider making a filter that uses Baader solar film. This will slightly improve the overall quality of the pictures and video you get out of the telescope compared to the included filter you get with the telescope. Anyway, let's take a look at how to make your own Baader filter for your Seestar telescope to get a slightly better overall quality to your solar imagery. Okay, so to upgrade your ZWO solar filter, this is the original filter that came with the telescope. All you need is one of these sheets of Baader solar film. Now I also bought a replacement ZWO solar filter, so this is a brand new one, which I will leave untouched. And my original one, which is a little bit beat up, is the one that I will replace the filter film in with the Baader filter film. And this way, I'll have two of them. They're in the exact same holder. You know, everything will be the same in terms of how they fit in the telescope. There won't be any change in aperture or anything like that based on the thickness of the mount or anything like that. So it should be an apples to apples comparison when I do some photo comparisons between the two filters with the Baader filter and with the original ZWO filter. So anyway, let's go ahead and swap out the filter film in this one, and then we can go ahead and do some comparison photos. So first of all, you are going to need a little small screwdriver. All you have to do is find this little spot right here, which hopefully you can see. There is a little bit of a notch there. You can pop a screwdriver in there and kind of work out this inner part. There we go. And so this inner ring is now removed, and you have your little piece of filter film here. And obviously, if you don't want to buy a second one of these mounts, you can also buy 3D printed ones or 3D print your own. You can just remove this disc of filter film, keep it in a safe place, and then swap back and forth if you want to. So you see you have a template that comes with the Baader film and the directions for how to do this. So when you get your filter film, what you will notice is that it is extremely, extremely thin. And that's the main difference between this filter film and this filter film. This is very, very, very thin. Now this filter film, even though it is very, very thin, it's a little bit more durable than what you might expect given how thin it is. But nonetheless, you can obviously poke a hole in it and things like that. So you do have to, you know, kind of make sure that it is still intact every time you use it. So now obviously this template is the size of your film, but you don't want to be cutting a hole in the middle of this film because you can obviously get quite a few of these circles on one film. And so if you do damage it, you do have plenty of material here to replace this multiple times. So go ahead and try to make sure that you're getting something close to the edges here. Now, this filter here has this rim around the edge that has some foam on it, and that gives it some structural support. And so the filter film is the same size as the opening in here, but you can't do that with this. It's going to be really hard to keep that in there with just that little tiny rim. It's going to be very easy for you to end up poking through on the edges or something like that. So I would recommend just doing a lot of overlap and then trimming things afterwards. So all right, so what I'm going to do is use a hobby knife with a sharp blade on there and go ahead and just cut out a square of this material. You could use a pair of scissors as well, but you know, no need to be overly careful with what you're doing. You just need a square that is bigger than the filter holder. And so you can see you can easily get 4 of these out of one sheet of material. So if you do have some friends that have Seestars and you want to do this conversion, you know, 4 of you could get one of these small sheets and do that. You know, you can really obviously kind of split the cost of this material. But pretty much it'll just be a matter of laying that in there, and then we can take our ring and push that in place so it's sealed. Okay, so now I have this done, and all I have to do is just trim off the excess. Obviously you have to be careful you don't poke a hole through your material. Okay, so here's the material in the filter holder, and you can see it is kind of wavy and wrinkly, but you actually want that. You can get it stretched completely taut, but you don't really want that. The issue with this film is that it is a little bit stretchy. And so if you have it taut, what you can end up having happen is certain areas are stretched a little bit thinner than other areas. And obviously that can impact the optical quality or how much light is getting passed through and that kind of thing, and cause variations in the image based on that film being stretched really tight and being potentially stretched thinner than what it's supposed to be. And so some wrinkles are fine, and you'll actually get a better, more uniform image if it is left a little bit wrinkly. So now that I have one of these switched out with the Baader film, I can go ahead and do a couple comparison photos of the sun. I'll just do a simple stack with each of these filters, and we'll compare them side by side and see what kind of differences we get with these two different filters. All right, so you can see here what the C-Star looks like with the standard included solar filter. And of course you get the typical orange sun that you normally see when you use that filter and record a video. Now here's the C-Star with the Baader film, again a little bit wrinkly looking, but overall similar type of fit and setup. And then with that filter though, you do get a natural white sun, and that's the main difference with the Baader filter. The way it blocks every wavelength about equally, you do end up getting a natural white view of the sun. So if we compare them side by side, you can see there is a little bit more detail visible with the Baader film than the original C-Star film in terms of the initial look that you get with the video. But some of that lack of detail that you get with the C-Star film is simply because of the color, the orange color, and just the way it looks. It does tend to mask some of the detail that's actually present. So if you actually desaturate the color in both of them, so they're basically both white, and then you also adjust the brightness of the version from the C-Star, so you end up with a similar overall look between the Baader film version and the C-Star film version. You can see they're actually not that far apart, and they look pretty similar. So we have to kind of zoom in here to see which one actually has more detail. And this may not come through perfectly on the video because of the compression and everything else that you'll see on YouTube. But the Baader film does have a little bit more detail present around the sunspots than the version with the C-Star. It's not a dramatic difference, so if you don't do a lot of solar imaging, it's probably not worth the trouble of upgrading. But if you do like to do a lot of solar imaging and you want to get the best possible image you can with your C-Star, then go ahead and do the Baader film upgrade. It doesn't cost very much. Again, you can get that sheet of film and get several replacements for it if you do end up tearing it. But anyway, that's just a quick look at a comparison between the Baader solar film and the original C-Star solar film, and showing that you can get a little bit of extra detail and quality out of your solar images if you do make that upgrade, but it's not going to be a huge dramatic difference. But anyway, that's all for now, and thanks for watching. Bye.